on the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffrey. Brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. By your local Ford dealers. Iowa Lottery. Be a VIP with the Iowa Lottery. Visit ialottery.com for details. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular. The official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular. Built for us. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee. Score big savings with a Hy-Vee Perks membership. Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. Midwest One Bank is the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Midwest One, small enough to care, big enough to deliver. Member FDIC. And by Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome in to Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffrey. Coach will join us shortly. Hawkeye basketball grooved out its fourth win of the Big Ten season last Friday, edging Penn State before a very short turnaround. Found them out in Columbus facing a solid Ohio State team. The Buckeyes broke open a close game in the second half and defeated Iowa 82-65, handcuffing the Hawkeye offense to just 39% shooting. And this is an Iowa group shooting 50% for the year and 48% in conference play. So I can tell you this Ohio State defense is for real. They came into that game the number 2 scoring defense team in the Big Ten, right at 39%, and they hold the Hawks to that number on the evening at the Value City Arena. The Buckeyes are playing their best basketball of the year. The Hawkeyes hope to when 10th-ranked Purdue comes to Carver Hawkeye Arena next Tuesday night for a 6 p.m. showdown. Iowa sits at 13-8 for the year and 4-6 in league play with 10 games remaining before the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis. So still some hay to make and plenty of time to do that. With that, we welcome you in. Good evening to Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey. I'm your host, Gary Dolphin, along with Bobby Hansen. We're at the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing. Stop by the Watermill Kitchen and Bar for a delicious menu, morning, noon, and night, where you'll find a smiling and courteous waitstaff led by the head coach and general manager, Matt Tretow, his right-hand man, Matt Hill, bartender Ben, Kayla, Samantha, and the extraordinary cooks in the kitchen here at the beautifully remodeled Hyatt Regency, including the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. Bobby, good to see you. We got back late from Ohio State on Monday night. A split for the week, the Minnesota game notwithstanding, but it's just been a little inconsistent. It's up and down. And, you know, I was looking at the standings in the Big Ten today. No wonder it's tough to play consistent basketball. There's so many teams that are on even standing I mean, Michigan State has kind of put some separation into the standings. Michigan State, Purdue is outstanding. You've got Michigan has been off to a great start. They've come back to earth, but this league from 3 through 18, it's anybody's ball game.
It really is, Gary, and that's a good point. As I've listened to some national radio shows, and the coaches in the Big Ten, they say, hey, we can predict that. You know, this is a tough league, man. There are good teams top to bottom. There are great coaches in this league, and every night it's going to be a war out there. So you got to protect your home court. That's what you try to do, and you got to get out there on the road, and you got to make some shots. For the Hawkeyes, the game, the victory versus Penn State the other night was a great win for the Hawkeyes right there. They needed that. They shot the ball from three-point land, 11 of 23. So, you know, after not shooting the ball well versus Minnesota, where we're just 3 for 21. But the knockdown shots got some confidence. Did a nice job on the boards. We're even on the boards with Penn State. And Penn State is no slouch now. They got some ball players on that team and a good coach, Mike Rhodes. They put a lot of pressure on you. Ace Baldwin in the backcourt, if you remember him, the little guy, played all 40 minutes in that game. He didn't really hurt the Hawks. He did have 2 steals, but the Hawks took really good care of the ball in that game. I thought was a big key to that were just 10 turnovers, which led to just 7 points for Penn State. So that's how Penn State generates some offense, is try to get their steals. So on the road to Ohio State, emotional day at Ohio State with the national championship pep rally and parade, and the trophy came out there at the end of the first quarter.
You knew that was going to happen.
You knew that was going to happen. We've seen it before. First year I did this, Penn State, that happened over there, not at Bryce Jordan, but at old Rec Hall.
Rec Hall.
Yeah, they brought it out with Joe Paterno and the crew, and it's kind of cool to see it, I guess, but
well, it's good for the Big Ten.
Good for the Big Ten.
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
you go. Yeah, congratulations to the Buckeye football team. But yeah, the Hawks battled and they came up a little bit short, and got a week off now, Gary, to regroup, get healthy, and you got 2 at home coming up next week, and take care of that, and we're off to a good start.
Indeed, and you know, the Ohio State game, it's there for the taking at halftime. It's 32-28.
Yep.
The rebounds were even at the intermission. Ohio State kind of got control on the backboards early on. They come out and put like a 11-2 run on the Hawks. Gradually stretched it to the final of 17, 82-65. But you know, they ran into a defensive buzzsaw. There's no other way to look at it.
They got athletes and similar-sized guys in the backcourt, Mobley and Thornton. Thornton's a power point guard. He can get to where he wants to go. I thought we did a good job on Bruce Thornton for the most part, but he's on the floor for the majority of the minutes. The freshman, John Mobley, hit a couple of threes, but he took 10 three-point field goals to hit those 2. But guys, Stewart, Micah Parrish, Devin Royal, those guys are similar size, and they switch everything. Evan Mahaffey that comes in there, and they get the win.
We're at the Hyatt Regency tonight. Bobby Hansen, I'm Gary Dolphin. Coach McCaffrey will join us in just a little bit. We have a player guest as usual. Jacob Cook will join us here in just a minute. Jake's in the house. And in the meantime, we invite you to come out any night, but especially tonight for Hawk Talk here at the Hyatt Regency Coralville, where the Watermill Kitchen and Bar is where we hang out. You can watch the show live. Every week they offer an extended happy hour, including $1 wings, $3 drafts, and domestics, and $5 house wines. Come on out to the Watermill Kitchen and Bar and join us for a great evening of Iowa basketball. Hawks are on what we call their bye week. Bobby, 6 days, actually more than that, 8 days between the Ohio State game and Purdue, who comes calling on Tuesday night next February 4th. And it's a good time to recharge the batteries, heal up the bumps and the bruises for that stretch run. There's still 10 games left. Yeah, we're at the halfway point. Good point, Gary. And for the kids back on campus, back in class, they can get off to a good start in the classroom, get going there, and a chance for Fran and the staff to get these guys, have a full week of practice. I'm sure there are off days in there, but work on some things they want to work on and keep moving forward. There's a number of ways you can reach us tonight to ask your question or send us a comment about Iowa basketball. Coach McCaffrey is ready, willing, and able to take your comments or your questions. On Twitter, you can reach us at Gary Dolphin. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. U.S. Cellular, thank you, U.S. Cellular, for providing us a text line for your questions or comments. If you're traveling tonight, of course, hand the phone to whoever's in the passenger seat. That number is 319-853-8344. 319-853-8344. Text us your quote, question, or comment. And you can even email us a question. And here's the address, hawktalk@hawkeyeradionetwork.com. Hawk Talk, all one word, at hawkeyeradionetwork.com. Thanks to U.S. Cellular. They're a proud sponsor of Hawkeye basketball. U.S. Cellular wants you to make the most of today by choosing game day traditions first and scrolling later. U.S. Cellular, built for us. When we come back, we're going to find out a lot about Jacob Cook, a local young man from Iowa City who's on this Iowa basketball team. He works hard every day in practice. Jake's our guest when we come back. to the Hyatt Regency. Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffrey and Learfield.
Conference play is here, and you could be there in style with the Iowa Lottery. Play the new 9s in a Line scratch ticket for your chance to win cash, or see the Iowa women's basketball team take on UCLA in February. Enter any non-winning scratch ticket in the VIP club today for a chance to win exclusive seats with complimentary food and beverage service, parking, and $500 in spending money. Women's basketball, men's wrestling. It's your choice in the prize zone. Check out ialottery.com/VIP for details and play today.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area. Card Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. At Community Choice, it's simply a mortgage. No hoops that jump through or limbo sticks to go under. Just a straight, easy path from point A to point B. It takes less than 60 seconds to get started at unpackyourmortgage.com. Loan approval subject to credit score and analysis. See Credit Union for details. Equal opportunity lender.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffrey. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
Quinn Schulte, I play safety here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop to run, I make the tackle, and I get interceptions.
Rosmer to throw, has time.
Yes,
it's deflected, intercepted again by Quinn Schulte. He's running the other way at the 40-yard line. Hawks have another turnover. We're going to slam the lid, hopefully down. Here's an interception. That'll do it. And it's Quinn Schulte. And down there, the Hawkeyes will have first and goal.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
We're at the Hyatt Regency for our weekly Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffrey. Fran is here. He'll join us shortly. In the meantime, it's been a great kick for Bobby and I to each and every week, 10, 11 weeks now, or at least 8 or 9 weeks, I'm not sure of the total number, but to welcome in an Iowa basketball player, a rostered player each and every week, find out a little bit about them and where they come from. And we didn't have to travel too far to find or pinpoint where Jacob Cook has come from. Jake has been a valuable member of the Hawkeye scout team, practice every day, gets the regulars ready, and he joins us. Iowa City's own Jacob Cook. His dad, like Carter Kingsbury and Cooper Koch, played at Iowa. Nathan, in fact, was back with J.R. Koch and Chris Kingsbury, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Played with JR for, I think, 1 year, and I think he played with Carter's dad for 2 years, maybe. So
that's what, mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
Wow. Any extra pressure because of that?
Not a ton, but yeah, it's kind of just more interesting to look back at and see all the stuff and hear the stories he had and how it's compared to what I've seen so far.
Well, you're a basketball family. We were talking earlier before we came on the air. You have two sisters,
mm-hmm.
one at Providence and one at Dartmouth?
She graduated Dartmouth.
Oh, okay, but both played basketball.
Yes, yeah, they did.
So you went to Iowa City West?
Mm-hmm, yeah,
okay.
All 4 years.
All 4 years.
You got some state championships in there, didn't you?
No, my team sadly didn't. We should have, but we didn't end up making it.
Okay.
How deep did you get?
Sub-state final was
Who
the
beat you?
farthest we got. It was Bettendorf.
Oh, the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Oh, Pat
They're
Anger.
pretty tough.
Pat Anger's laughing.
Kevin Skillett, the athletics director out there.
Kevin's the AD. Pat Anger, who does the football games with me, he's giggling right now. Anytime you mention the Bettendorf Bulldogs. But, those are two great programs, really, West and Bettendorf, in most sports, right?
Yeah.
How was it playing for Bergie? I've known Bergie forever, and his brother was on the trip with him.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I saw his brother. But, it was really fun playing for Berg. It's a really defensive-minded coach, so that was what our big focus was. We had a great group there. Obviously played with Jack, and then we had a few other guys that probably could have played other places. But, it was a really fun team, and we fell short a few times, but it was a great experience with them all, and
Now, you were telling me you could have easily been at Liberty High School, the new one up in North Liberty. You moved up there at a young age?
Yeah, about 7th or 8th grade, we moved up right behind Liberty, but I open enrolled because both my sisters went to West, so I didn't have to worry about going to Liberty. I was pretty keen on going into West and playing for Berg and just being part of that program.
Is the West City High rivalry as aggressive, for lack of a better term, as I've heard down through the years?
It was always packed whenever we played them, but I don't know. It was that and Liberty. Both of them were pretty solid, pretty rowdy games. They were pretty fun.
So Liberty, even in its infancy as a high school, it's pretty intense, huh?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I'd probably even know more people that went to Liberty. So it was like that game. It's a little closer to me, probably, just also living right by it.
Liberty up there.
That was probably more.
You live near the high school?
Yeah, like 1 minute walk, so it's pretty close.
They don't throw eggs at you or anything when you're heading into town. Okay.
Luckily not.
So outside of Iowa City, who would be your most noted rival?
Ooh. I've never liked Prairie. Prairie's always kind of been
the Murray kids.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, the Murrays, yeah.
That's pretty close. Right up 380.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting, Bobby.
Yeah, so where did you start playing basketball? Your sisters obviously are your older sisters.
Yeah, I can't even remember how young I was. It was kind of just ever since I remember, I've always played, always gone to the gym whenever they would go to the gym. So started out working out pretty early and just kind of always been around it with my parents, and they've always kind of been there to support me with basketball, so it's kind of always been around my life ever since I remember.
You got a nice shot, too. I want your jump shot.
Thank you. Yeah, we work a lot on jump shots in our family, but both my sisters were pretty good shooters, too, so it's
awesome.
Jacob Cook is a 6'2 freshman, 180 pounds, Iowa City West High School. Bobby and I have watched you in practice and shoot around all year. I took note in California when we got to see a number of practices in succession, and I love the way you get after it. Whether it's screening, you're not afraid to take the shot. I remember the three you hit against South Carolina Upstate.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of your alum high school teammates, or at least classmates, in the crowd because they gave you a huge roar, as did your teammates.
They're at a lot of the games, honestly. Just they'll send me videos and stuff, especially when I'm in the game like that, and they'll tell me whenever they're coming out. So it's always fun when I can talk to some of those guys and just pick up with them after the games and stuff like that.
Well, how did you and Coach McCaffrey get together, the Division I experience? Take us through the invitation to join Iowa Hawkeye and Big Ten basketball.
Yeah, I think it started with me always playing with Jack. We always kind of had a connection there. So after my senior year was when I kind of reached out about maybe trying to walk on here, and he told me to stay ready and stay in shape, and I always kind of did. And when he finally got the text from KD and got added to the group chat and stuff, that was really great experience.
What a thrill, huh?
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
I mean, talk about life on that scout team. You guys are charged with knowing that other team's offense overnight.
Yeah.
You got to have the plays, and whoever has a scout kind of teaches you guys, and you guys absorb it all.
Yeah, well, usually it's 2 days.
2 days
before the game. Well, that practice actually that we introduced, the scouts will all meet 30 minutes before practice. So we'll learn all their plays, go through them twice, and we usually have a pretty good grasp on all the plays. And whatever coach is doing, the scout will help us out along the way if we kind of forget. But usually we're pretty spot on with what the plays are, and we learn what defense they play so we can prepare the team for how they're going to be approached when they're on offense, and just kind of try and get them all ready.
Who are some of the guys you have been? Were you Bruce Thornton?
No, that was Carter.
Carter was Bruce Thornton. Okay.
Man,
you were Mobley, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I remember, there's a lot of guys now, but I don't know. My favorite one might have been when we played Michigan. That was a fun scout.
Trey Donaldson.
Yeah.
He shoots all the time. You get a shoot,
they
right?
have a lot of shooters, so got to fire a little bit that practice. That was a good practice.
You and Trey Buchanan came in at the same time.
Yeah.
Both guys can shoot the ball. You're good defenders in practice. You really make the guards better. We hope to get Trey on before the year's over.
Yeah.
But you and he make a pretty good combo. I see you guys hanging out a lot together.
Yeah, no, we hang out a lot. Me, him, Cooper, we're all pretty tight. All freshmen, obviously, at the dorm. We hang out a lot. But yeah, no, playing with Trey, guard to guard, has always been really fun.
So we got you and we got Cooper Koch, K-O-C-H, and we got Cook, K-O-C-H, both spelled the same way. Has that created any confusion?
A lot, actually. Even like at the school, when we go to like the Jardine Learning Center, like I've had multiple people ask us if we're related because we'll go study together, or we'll go hang out together. And
You think you're brothers?
Yeah, no, they do.
You do look a little bit
alike. We've gotten that a few times. We've got similar hair, so.
It's a number one question when we're on the road.
Yeah.
The other scorekeeper comes over and is like, are these guys brothers? Are they related? Or it's like, nope, and they pronounce differently, too, and then that throws them off. So.
Yeah, my friends will joke with me about it, how like, we're brothers, but even though they know.
They don't say Cooper's little brother, smaller brother. Yeah.
Luckily, no.
No, that's really a good story, no question.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 games left before the Big Ten tournament. Got a few days off now to regroup, recharge the batteries, and refocus mentally. Tell me about the attitude of the team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously after a loss, it's a little down, but I think everybody believes in each other, and especially with Peyton. Peyton's a really great leader. Even after games, after a tough loss, he'll tell us all to stay together and be a team still. Like, nobody drift apart from each other. We're all one, and like the only way like we can get worse is if we like start going against each other. So definitely like sticking as a team, even when there's a tough loss or two. So just like being ready for the next game, keeping your head up. Don't let it drag into the next game and affect how you play in your.
It's in the past, man. We don't look back.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep charging forward. You got half the season left. Tell us about Purdue. What do you guys know about Purdue?
Well, we haven't started that scout yet, but obviously got the really good point guard, so we got to keep him under control. Especially he averages a lot of assists. Obviously, he's got a few double-doubles this year, so we're gonna have to be pretty keen on stopping him. I've seen him in the pick and roll. He's pretty good in the pick and roll, so I think he'll definitely be a focus. And then just getting our groove back, But yeah, we'll start getting ready for them a few days before, probably even more this week, because we have the whole week to prepare instead of just the 2 days like usual. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a good team to have a week to prepare for.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Boilermakers.
And you get to watch them Friday night. Big game Friday night. I think Indiana comes into Mackey.
Yeah.
So do you prefer Jake or Jacob?
I've always gone by Jacob, actually, but as I've come here, it's started to transition a little bit to Jake. Coach Gatens and Coach Eldridge, and then Price has started calling me Jake a little bit. So.
Well, Jake's got a little bit more of a basketball
name.
I know. Jacob's formal, but it's a great biblical name, too.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming out tonight, Jacob. And keep doing what you're doing. We love watching you play and practice especially.
Yeah.
That's only going to make everybody better. And enjoy the fair here at the Hyatt Regency.
Of course,
right?
thank you.
And when you get in there, find a shot, man. Let her fly.
Take it. Let her go.
Cheering for you.
Thank you.
Hanson never hesitated. You shouldn't either.
No, never.
All right. Thanks to Jacob and Jake Cook from Iowa City West High School, our guest here, and a great add to the Hawkeye roster. We're brought to you tonight live from the Hyatt Regency by Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield, who knows you're here for every memorable moment, every fast break, every three-pointer, and every game-winning play. Wellmark is here for every moment, too, with trusted healthcare coverage you can count on all season long. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/hoops. Fran McCaffrey is right around the corner on his show, Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey from Learfield at the Hyatt Regency. We're back in a minute.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing US Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to US Mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to wellmark.com/every moment to find a plan right for you.
I'm Nick Jackson. I play linebacker here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop the run, I make the tackle, I drop in coverage.
3rd down 11. Straight back to pass to Sullivan. He's running for his life. Down he goes. That's a loss of another 6. Nick Jackson.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
We're back on Hawk Talk live from the Hyatt Regency. Welcome back, everybody. Gary Dolphin, Bobby Hansen, Coach McCaffrey will be joining us shortly. Let's give you a U.S. Bank scoreboard update. U.S. Bank, a proud supporter of Iowa Hawkeye basketball. And there's some games of significance going on. The early starting Big Ten game tonight has Wisconsin at Rutgers. And with 12 minutes to go on that battle, Wisconsin at Maryland. And with 12 minutes to go in the game, Maryland has a 2-point lead on the 17th-ranked Badgers, 46-44. There is another game later tonight involving Rutgers and Northwestern. Northwestern-Rutgers will play the second game. Again, Maryland 46, Wisconsin 44, 12 minutes to play out in College Park. Among the ranked teams, number 1 Auburn leads at LSU at 60-52. Midway through the second half. 6th-ranked Houston has a 5-point lead on Coach DeVries in West Virginia, 45-37. That's in Morgantown with 11 minutes to play. Texas Tech is at home to TCU, and 22nd-ranked Texas Tech has a 3-point lead on TCU, 45-42. DePaul, midway through the first half at Connecticut, leads UConn, 24-12. Coach Holtman has got the Blue Demons fired up against DePaul or against UConn, the defending national champs. 24-12, DePaul leads. 4th-ranked Alabama is at number 14 Mississippi State a little bit later on, and number 23 Ole Miss is at home to Texas tonight. Northern Iowa and Drake are hooking up this evening as well in the Missouri Valley. And with that, Coach McCaffrey is settled in next to us. a few days off to regroup, Fran. The guys, Jacob was just telling us you haven't quite implemented the Purdue game plan yet, but
no.
Coming out of Ohio State, a win over Penn State here in the last 5 days, your thoughts?
Yeah, we, I thought we played really well against Penn State. And then, of course, didn't close the game the right way at the free throw line. But it's a really good team that we beat. I've been really impressed with them all season long. The athleticism, their style of play is a little different. Ohio State really trending upward.
For sure.
When they beat Purdue on the road, the Parrish kid makes 6 threes. I mean, you got an incredibly veteran group. You got transfer from San Diego State, the transfer from Kentucky, the transfer from Duke, the transfer from Samford, who've already scored 1,200 points. And then, you got Bruce Thornton back, who's arguably the best point guard in our league.
Phenomenal.
A lot of people would say Braden Smith, but Bruce Thornton is the real deal. And then, that way, the Mobley kid, the freshman, he doesn't have all the pressure because he's one of the best freshmen I've seen. Forget about in our league. He's a bucket getter, but he had 8 assists against me. He's proven that he has game. So they're really big. And so it got away from us there at the start of the second half. We were right there, scored the first bucket of the second half, down 2. Then we went on a little scoring drought. And what was disappointing about that is that we didn't buckle down defensively. And they were scoring in transition. And we have to be better, because it wasn't like we were taking bad shots. There might have been one quick 3 by somebody, but for the most part, we were getting good shots, good shooters getting good shots. Now the other thing, and it's been problematic, we didn't get any back.
Yeah.
If you are missing, you got to get a few back. I mean, you're not going to get a ton, but you got to get some.
Get that defense.
Yeah, and exactly, score, get your defense back, and make them attack a stacked defense. If you have a bunch of athletes that are talented, that are veteran guys, and they're constantly coming at you in transition, which is what we try to do, obviously,
sure.
then that's going to be problematic. So, our guys will learn from it. I think this break is coming at a good time. We're a little banged up, but we'll get them ready.
Coach, impressive 2-game stretch there for Drew Thelwell. By my count here, 14 out of 20 from the floor he was in those 2 games, and that kid just competes every possession.
I mean, I love that kid on so many different levels. He's a competitor. He's a leader. He's a veteran guy. He doesn't rattle on the road. And you would expect that from him. He's not a rookie. When you go into the portal and you get a veteran guy like that, that's kind of what you're hoping you get. We thought we had that with him. And boy, has he been special. I mean, from day one. I mean, you're right. The last couple games have been incredible, but I can only remember one game where he didn't play up to his standards. Every other game, he's been rock solid. He's been smart. He's been tough. He's been versatile. He defends. And like I said, I think I said this before on this show, I just wish I could coach him more than 1 year. That's the kind of guy you want in your program for 4 years.
His anticipation on the defensive end, too, is off the charts.
Yeah, he makes it look open. He takes it away, finishes on the break, and gives it up easy, makes the 3, but can get to the rim pretty much at any point in time.
Interesting article I read, and I told him I really enjoyed reading it. And he, of course, he looks at it and says, "Thank you, sir." But, he's a black belt in Taekwondo at age 9, maybe something like that.
I better not mess with him. You either.
Better leave him alone.
Why is he calling you, sir?
I should have asked him that, but I'm bigger, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you are bigger.
So respectful.
But yeah, he was. That's part of Taekwondo.
He's just setting you up.
It is.
For a side kick to the head.
Oh, don't even start.
Coach, I love when you have the opportunity to set that 1-2-2 because usually Seydou Traoré is going to be at the front of it. We had him as our player of the game the other night, courtesy of Old Dominion. 20 minutes, he hits 3 of 5 shots, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 7 of 10 from the free throw line. It's just fun to watch him mature, not by game, but every minute he's on the floor. He just loves, and he's totally healthy now.
He's starting to figure it out, Dolph. You're right. I mean, he's really good at the point of the press. He gets traffic rebounds. He can score. He has feel. He can make a play off the bounce. He likes to go back down game and load people up. He's really good in transition. You're right. He was also hurt, and that sort of slowed his progress down. Like, he was just trending in the right direction, and then he was off for a couple games.
Yeah.
We're putting stuff in. He doesn't really understand it yet. He's still learning. Because remember, he's a transfer, but he's still only a sophomore, and he hasn't been here.
Young guy.
So now you got a guy who is comfortable with what we're doing. He's comfortable in his own skin. Because when you're learning a new system and you're a multiple position player, that's critical. We talk about this all the time, Dolph, Bobby. A lot of guys say, I can play 4 positions. Okay, great. Can you remember 4 positions? And that sometimes is, maybe you better leave me at the 3 or the 4. The 1 and the 2, maybe not.
Yeah.
And he has that ability to play 1 through 4. He's not there yet where he knows everything in every one of those plays. I mean, you've seen us go through this. Our plays, our out-of-bounds plays, under the basket on the side, press offense, where do you line up? Late game package, where are you? Who's on the floor? Because the late game package will be determined by where are your shooters, where are your bigs. He's going to have the ball, he's going to set the first screen, he's going to come off the first screen. Well, that's a big difference, because if you go to the wrong place, your late game package isn't going to work. And we're trying to score quickly, and now we're going to score slowly if we score at all. So I'm really proud of him. I think he's got a tremendous attitude. He's a guy that he does not rattle. Like sometimes you get a guy that all of a sudden you're in the Big Ten and you're on the road and there's 17,000 people there and everybody's going crazy and they're disrupting your huddle and you can't hear the play call. They rattle a little bit. They get nervous. They forget. Nothing bothers him at all.
Yeah.
He is not afraid of anybody.
I love his physicality, too.
And his length is really special. So he's just going to keep getting better, though.
Coach, how long does it take a player in your system to fully grasp, not everything, but 90% of what you got?
The good news is, and we talk about this a lot, they get here in June.
Okay.
In the old days, it was really hard. You start practice October 15th, and you got to learn it in 3 weeks. That's almost impossible. So the only ones that really were able to do that in those days were the guys that were just better than everybody else. Like, okay, this guy came here. We knew he was going to play from minute 1. Put him out there, live with what he doesn't know, and be patient with him. And those guys are usually really good, pick it up pretty quickly. But now you have, we start in June, so, the good players, the smart guys, they pretty much have the general framework by the time we start official practice, which now is at the end of September. And then we still don't play till November. So by that time, and it's important, in my view, to teach and be patient in that period of time. And if we have a guy that's a little bit slower, coming slower, not get in his face and yell at him and, panic because he hasn't picked it up yet, be patient. Teach. Review it. Show him on film. Show him privately, like not in front of everybody. Okay, look, you got to do this, not that. You got to be better here, not that, And that way they learn better, in my opinion. My experience would tell me after 42 years, that environment is much more conducive to learning and growing than everybody screaming and yelling at you and everybody panicking because you screwed up one play. because at the end of the day, guys are going to make mistakes on plays like that. And what happens then? Somebody has to make a play. So you diagram a play, we're running a play doesn't work. Who's going to make a play? Who's going to put their head down and drive it and recognize it's a one dribble kick? I can turn the corner, I can draw three, and then kick it. And then they're going to be a hard closeout, so we can shot fake drive that. So we drive and kick, shot fake drive and kick again. Now the guy's wide open and he drills a three. So the play didn't actually work, but the play was an entry into some other action, and our guys made good decisions, and we score anyway.
And watching practice these last couple of weeks, we've been able to be up close. As guys are helping each other.
Yeah. We have a connected group in that respect. Guys in the locker room, they get along, they like each other, they understand and communicate with each other as to what we're doing, and they communicate on the floor. We always talk about talking and communication. It's two different things. So, Bobby, you played the game a long time. You see those teams, and it's like infield chatter. Guys are just mumbling, screaming, bah, 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 bah. That doesn't do anybody any good. I need to know if I'm guarding Bruce Thornton and I'm getting screened, where's the screen? Is it on my left? Is it on my right? Is it flat? I need to know that my guys are up. And then we got to, if we're coming up, then we've got to be in from the corners and we've got to be able to get back out. If we call a play, it's loud in there. We can't run a play when four guys know the play and one guy doesn't. All right, so how is that being communicated from one player to another? And if you're the point guard, you don't start the play unless everybody's lined up properly. So that's where the communication comes in. So, we encourage our guys to communicate.
We got to take a break, I know, Coach, but one of the best communicators I ever played with had a tough voice to hear with Bill Cartwright. But you could hear that distinct voice. Get over here, Bobcat, I'm guy in the ring.
Hey, look, when you have a guy like that, for that team
was that way.
Woodbury was that way. For that team, you couldn't pay him enough.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't the guy,
the captain.
Yeah, exactly. It was Jordan and Pippen. Whoa, big fella's got everything under control in the
locker
paint,
room.
In the locker room.
Yeah.
I know this when Cartwright spoke out, you knew who was talking to you with that voice, right?
Yeah.
That gravelly voice. Got hit in the throat so many times.
He hit a few people in the throat himself.
He did, thank you.
Elbow.
Teammates included.
We'll take a break. Coach McCaffrey enjoying a meal, as we all are here at the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing in the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. You can come watch the show live each week. They're offering an extended happy hour on Hawk Talk night, including $1 wings, $3 drafts and domestics, and $5 house wines. Come on down to the Watermill Kitchen and Bar and join us for a great evening of Iowa basketball. We're sponsored by Iowa Corn, the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series. Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. Thank you, Iowa's corn farmers, who lead the nation in corn and ethanol production, feeding and fueling us all. Go to iowacorn.org and learn how corn grows Iowa. When we come back, we'll go to Twitter, we'll go to Facebook, we'll take a couple questions off the U.S. Cellular text line, and email at Hawkeye or at HawkTalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. That's all straight ahead from the Hyatt Regency on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey from Learfield.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, or just needs someone to listen, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area. Card Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. Royal Flooring is your one-stop shop for the finest things in your home. Find the best material from the most trusted brands in our beautiful, fully stocked showroom in Urbandale, or shop in comfort online at shoproyalflooring.com.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency. Gary Dolphin, Bobby Hansen, and Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffrey. The Hawks take on the Purdue Boilermakers coming up next Tuesday. That is February 4th, a 6 o'clock tip, 5 o'clock for the pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. And we'll talk about the Boilermakers a little bit later on in the show, but we're loaded up with questions and comments on our 4 outlets, Facebook, Twitter, our cellular, U.S. Cellular text line, and on email. So, Coach, let me go to Twitter first. Ray in Rockford. That could be Rockford, Iowa, up by Mason City, or Rockford, Illinois. But either way, Ray was listening to us talk about defense. How often, Coach, do you change your defense during a game from man to zone and back again?
That's a really, really good question, because it will be a function of what we saw in scouting and what happens throughout the course of the game. So, the Indiana game, we went zone and they struggled with it. We stayed in it. Normally, we'll go in it, we'll go to it, we'll switch back to man, we'll start pressing. We might press on makes, we might press on just made free throws or dead balls. Obviously, if you're behind, you're going to press more. Then you can change the press. But we're always a function of our mentors, okay?
Sure.
And I played and coached in the era of teams that change defenses. And you have different philosophies on that. And Tom Izzo plays man-to-man.
Who were the coaches that you loved to copy or you admired?
Well,
then
it's the ones that I played for or worked for.
Okay.
Yeah. So I played for Bob Weinhauer, who
great coach.
Later on, we went to the Final Four, and last Ivy League team to go to the Final Four. He was our coach. He ended up in the NBA for many years as an assistant coach, but then was a general manager in the NBA. Matter of fact, he drafted Pat Garrity, who I recruited and coached at Notre Dame. Digger Phelps he would change defenses. I worked for him. And I worked for Tom Schneider at Lehigh. And he was a changing defensive guy. And so, Bob Weinhauer worked for Chuck Daly. And actually, when I was being recruited by Penn, Chuck Daly was the head coach. He ended up going to the Sixers with Billy Cunningham. And that's when I played for Coach Weinhauer.
Great NBA coach.
Yeah. So You have coaches like Matt Painter. Like, we're playing man-to-man, and you're not going to score on us. Izzo's the same way. And then you'll have some that'll just, all right, it's not working. We'll just go to a zone and see what happens. They just throw a 2-3 zone at you. But a lot more times now, coaches are going to a 2-3, but after 3 passes, they're man-to-man anyway. So they show zone, gets you to stand around a little bit, and then they just match up to you.
Switch up.
Because the reason for that, Dolph, is the shot clock's winding down. So I don't want pass to the high post, skip to the wing, and the guy shoots a wide open three and makes it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as big a deal back when I was playing because you didn't have the 3-point shot. So there's a lot more zone then.
Good point.
A lot of teams won't play zone simply because you're giving up threes and you don't have direct block-out responsibilities. And that's why a lot of guys won't play zone at all.
Good question. Good comment. Thanks, Ray and Rockford. On Facebook, Kent, how about some insight on what the timeline is after the Monday game at Ohio State? We talked a little bit about this. How long does it take for post-game interviews, showers, get loaded, head back to the airport? Do things usually run smooth? Are there delays beyond your control? Yeah, yes, and yes. But regardless of the flight back, the guys get to bed late that night. What happens? We played Monday night. What happens yesterday, today, and tomorrow with these days off?
We've had a couple tough trips, and you expected it when we went to the West Coast.
Yes.
They didn't get back to the rooms until 4 a.m. This time was probably 1:30 because it was the late game in Ohio. So the media showers, you guys finishing up your show goes pretty quickly. Pretty smoothly. The bus is there. The managers have the food ready for the kids. They've ordered food. They eat that on the bus. They bus over to the airport. We're chartering, so we're pulling right up to the airplane, get on, take off relatively quickly. There are some delays sometimes at some of the larger airports because security is such an issue. Mm-hmm. If we're flying out of West Lafayette, it's a little different than flying out of Newark.
For sure.
So, or BWI in Baltimore. You're relying on somebody who's working a late shift to come and let you in and get you to your plane. The other thing is, which is kind of unique to me, is sometimes we're getting on a charter plane and the security is, in my opinion, way over the top. We know who we are. We're not going to hijack our own plane. I don't think anybody's going to hijack the plane and go to Mexico. I don't think so, Dolph, unless you're involved in something I don't know about.
Well, I wouldn't go to Mexico, first off.
You'd go to Bermuda.
Costa Rica.
Hang out with Podolak. So, but, different places have different levels of, sometimes one person will get on, check your ID, boom, you're on the plane, you're out the door. Others, they're wanding you and checking your bags.
Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah. So that takes a little longer sometimes.
Bobby, while Fran was talking about that, and Kent, thanks for the question on Facebook. The Hawks play 30 to 35 games typically. You've got 82 games plus how many exhibition games?
8.
Bobby, when you started, weren't you still flying commercial?
Yes, sir. Jerry Sloan hated the idea of a charter. His charter would have been the little yellow school bus will get us there.
Why did he hate charter?
He thought it softened you up. You got to know Jerry Sloan,
that sounds
right?
Like Sloan.
I remember when Jerry Sloan played. He was nuts.
Yeah, him and Van Leer
in the guard court.
Yeah, but anyway, it was awesome. He was a great teacher. But, we started out, Frank Layden was the coach, and we took Delta. But you're flying first class, but you're flying from San Antonio to Seattle for a back-to-back game, and New York thinks it's like, New York to Philly out there. So it's a 4-hour flight at 6 a.m.
First flight out, right?
First flight out, you got to be on. That's right. And then you get to Chicago and the bags don't, or wherever you're at. I said Seattle, but let's go to Chicago and the bags don't show up for an hour, and you're sitting there. And they had a tough one the night before, you know. That builds character.
Red eye.
And then the good teams had the MGM Grand Air, which Chicago took at the end. I was able to be a part of that. But there were 4 teams, New York, L.A., Boston, and Chicago took this flying limousine called MGM Grand Air, which was an amazing way to travel. They don't do that anymore, but the charter thing cost a lot of money back then, Fran. And so, it was better to, I gave up my seat my rookie year to Frank Layden, so Frank got to sit up in first class. There are 12 first-class seats. He said, "Kid, you're in the back." You get, a few favors here and there, but so it was.
You didn't care as long as the check cleared.
Yeah, it was all part of the being a part of a team when you're wandering through. And I got stories after stories of stuff that happened. Guys aren't happy with each other.
But Sloan thought that charter flights softened you up.
Softened you up. Yeah.
Only Jerry
Nobody's
Sloan.
shocked by that.
Oh my
Nobody.
God.
But then we had a plane in Sacramento. Dick Motta, the coach, he was in Detroit with that crew. They had Round Ball 1, where they had their little L Bach 1011, and then so Sacramento bought one. And it was the slowest airplane in the history of aviation as we went from Indiana.
You'd be better off on that yellow school bus.
Yeah, Indiana to, let's say, Boston, back home to Sacramento. You have to refuel in Grand Island, Nebraska.
Oh, wonderful. In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, yeah.
It's nice and warm.
I just want to go home.
I was reading today that this week in 1995, 30 years ago, John Stockton surpassed Magic Johnson's career assist record by, and as the guy said on the radio, he goes, and you can imagine who he hit. I'm thinking Bobby Hansen, Karl Malone, the mailman,
baby,
dunked,
deliver the mail,
and broke Magic's assist record.
He has a record that'll never be broken. Fran was a point guard. I mean, that assist record that John has,
amazing,
will never be broken.
Well, the other thing is he wasn't a big guy, but he was amazingly durable. Played 18 years.
Yeah, tough, yeah, for sure.
I can remember
tough dude now.
One sprained ankle that drove him nuts, and he may have missed a game, but that's all I remember. But John had big hands. He had big hands. He could control the basketball. Couldn't really go left real well, so Chicago would force him left with that ISO off that high screen roll, and that's kind of how they won it.
Good stuff.
The best. He's a Hall of Famer.
I mean, playing with Stockton and Malone, man, oh man, the Lakers were so strong then, but Malone not only was a great player, was he a good guy?
Awesome guy. Still a friend to this day. Our kids communicate with each other. Carl's down.
That's great.
Yeah, Carl, the kids all, kind of grew up around each other, went out and stayed at his house one time and hung out in the pool and, see that muscle man. It was during his wrestling days.
Him and
just come back.
Swimming trunks. Wow.
Yeah,
The mailman delivered, that's for sure.
A lot of great guys. I'm going to throw Mark Eaton in there as well. Thurl Bailey. Those guys just great teammates during that time and with the Utah Jazz.
Good stuff. We need to pause for a break here and a 10-second station identification right now. We're, of course, enjoying another edition of Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey. We're live at the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing here in Coralville, and we're brought to you by the University of Iowa Healthcare. UIHC is here for you no matter where you are in the state of Iowa, changing medicine and changing lives for all of Iowa and beyond. Visit uihealthcare.org. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Hawk Talk from Learfield. Back to the Hyatt Regency in just a minute. We'll return with an updated U.S. Bank scoreboard and more of your questions on Twitter, U.S. Cellular text line, on email, and, of course, Facebook with Coach McCaffrey. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey from Learfield.
Midwest One believed in us and gave us the money to get started, and it was great.
We're talking with Jack Piper of Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
In 2005, they were there when we opened Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack. They've been there every step of the way with funding and great feedback on how to expand our brand. Midwest One Bank has been great, and with the recent uncertain times, we got through it, thanks to Midwest One Bank.
Midwest One Bank, simply better banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffrey. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, or just need someone to listen, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Welcome back to the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing. Thanks to our live audience for coming out as usual, and thank you for tuning in on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Time for a U.S. Bank Scoreboard. U.S. Bank Scoreboard update. U.S. Bank, a longtime proud supporter of Hawkeye basketball. First off, in the Big Ten, Maryland and Wisconsin, you knew that would be a tussle, and it has been every bit of that. It's 72-66. Maryland, with a half a minute to go, has a 6.2 possession lead on the 17th ranked Badgers at Maryland. 72-66 Maryland, leading Wisconsin with 30 seconds to go. After that game, Rutgers is at Northwestern tonight. Drake defeated Northern Iowa in Des Moines. Drake 66, the UNI Panthers 52 in the Missouri Valley. And in top 25 basketball, number one Auburn has defeated, leads LSU late. With 2 minutes to go, it's Auburn, number one ranked Auburn 83, LSU 70. Number 22 Texas Tech leads TCU by 7 with 2 minutes to play. DePaul still out in front of 25th ranked UConn. DePaul 37. Connecticut 29. That's at halftime in the Big East. 6th ranked Houston has a 14-point lead. Check that. That just went final. Houston defeated West Virginia 63-49 in the Big 12. 4th ranked Alabama and number 14 Mississippi State will play later on, as will Ole Miss and Texas. That's our U.S. Bank Scoreboard update. We're brought to you tonight on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey by our friends at Summit Agricultural Group. Thanks to Bruce Rastetter and Nick and the crew at Summit Ag Group. Summit Agricultural Group is committed to Iowa and adding value to Iowa products: corn, beef, hogs, and ethanol. Go Hawks from Summit Agricultural Group. We'll take another break, come back with the rest of your questions and comments on Facebook, Twitter, the U.S. Cellular text line, and on email on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey from the Hyatt Regency right after this from Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Conference play is here, and you could be there in style with the Iowa Lottery. Play the new Nines in a Line scratch ticket for your chance to win cash, or see the Iowa women's basketball team take on UCLA in February. Enter any non-winning scratch ticket in the VIP club today for a chance to win exclusive seats with complimentary food and beverage service, parking, and $500 in spending money. Women's basketball, men's wrestling. It's your choice in the prize zone. Check out ialotery.com/VIP for details and play today.
I'm Y.A. Black, defensive line, Iowa. On the field, I take on double teams, stop the run, and sack the quarterback.
Sullivan now runs for his life, and he's obliterated by Y.A. Black. Here's the snap, the spot.
Yes,
and it's blocked.
It.
Kick is blocked at the line of scrimmage.
Don't touch the ball.
Bucks get it back. Y.A. Black, God, man, what a momentum shift there.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffrey. I'm Gary Dolphin, joined by Bobby Hansen. And we're rocking and rolling through another Hawk Talk. And Iowa-Purdue is next Tuesday night. Again, that's an early start, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Coach, let's go right back. I want to go to the U.S. Cellular text line. Michelle checks in. Coach, how much time do you get to watch Jack in high school at Iowa City West and Patrick at Butler? I know you're not able to attend every game in person, but are you able to watch? Do you tape the games? Butler played Marquette last night, gave the Marquette Golden Eagles a good run, lost by 9. Patrick had 12 points. How often do you get to see Jack and or Patrick?
Well, if I'm in town and Jack is playing, I go to the game. So I was there last night. They played Linn-Mar. I'll be at the game Friday night at Liberty. Margaret last night was in Indianapolis watching Patrick. I wanted to get to see at least one of Patrick's games at Hinkle. As you recall, we had a break at Christmas, and I went to Phoenix and watched them play Northwestern and Mississippi State. And then last Saturday, we went to the DePaul game. Now, I flew down there to watch him play against DePaul. And then right after that, one of our recruits was playing. So I went over to watch that game and flew home after that.
Cool.
So we tied that into recruiting. So we pretty much try to make sure somebody's at, like last night, Margaret was at one, I was at the other. Obviously, as you know, like we played Tuesdays and Fridays a lot. So I've been missing some of Jack's games. because of the Tuesday, Friday night games. So I can't go to those. But if Patrick's playing on TV, I watch. And those games in the Big East are often on FS1 or Fox, so I'll watch those.
Watch that game last night. Patrick was on fire early.
He was on fire, and he didn't get many after that. He hit 2 early. But as you know, he's never a guy that hunts shots. He had 12 points on 8 shots. And they have 2 other guys that take the bulk of their shots, and they're both good players. They run more of a deliberate style than we do. So Patrick would always get out and run and get opportunities to finish on their break. They don't run as much. They run, I would say it's set plays, it's actions. And he's really good in it because he moves without it.
Yeah, he had some nice cuts.
Cuts and cuts. Because what a lot of teams are doing to that is switching everything. So you've got to cut, or you've got to screen your own man, or you've got to screen and slip. But I forget which game it was. What was the DePaul game? He didn't shoot much, and he didn't score as much, but he had 5 assists and no turns. So he was feeding the ball to those guys from the perimeter. So
Patrick looks happy.
Yeah, he looks really happy.
In his face.
He's happy. He really likes Thad. I mean, Thad is really one of the good people in this business, Thad Matta. Obviously his record speaks for itself. He was incredibly successful at Butler, Xavier, and Ohio State before he went back to Butler. And, when he retired from Ohio State, I think everybody thought, he's not going to come back and coach. But he went to Butler, played at Butler. His wife went to Butler. A couple of his kids went to Butler. And he had an opportunity to go back. And he lives right off campus. And it's great for him. It's great for him. It's great for the university.
Do you know where he's from? High school?
I just know he's from Indiana.
Hoopston is the name of the town.
You've got to be a hooper then.
Hoopston Corn Jerkers.
Right on the Illinois.
Right on the border.
Indiana border.
Right there. Yeah.
Corn Jerkers. The Hoopstown Corn
Used to be a great T-shirt.
I mean, that has got Hoosiers written all over it, that small town high school basketball. Coach, we're going to do our Midwest One quick stat of the week. As a presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball, Midwest One is the proud partner of doers and entrepreneurs. Our teams are ready to help you reach your business goals. Midwest One, it's empowered money management. It's Midwest One Bank, member FDIC. And we opened the show talking about Drew Thelwell, but in the last 2 games, Drew 14 of 20 from the field, 6 of 9 from 3. What I love about him, he's never afraid to pull the trigger. And Ryan and Newton emailed us, Coach, how often do you give three-point shooters the true green light when they can pretty much shoot when they feel they have the right opportunity from long range? Well, in Drew's case, it's almost like a set shot jump 3, and he can hit them from deep.
He can, and he did that, at Morehead State. In regard to the question, I give all my guys a green light. Well, I probably shouldn't say, there's a couple guys that I shouldn't have to say that is not a strength of yours. So throw the ball to those guys that have the green light.
See Josh Dix.
Yeah,
See
Josh Dix, Peyton Sanford, Price Sanford, Cooper Koch when he was healthy, Drew Thelwell. Luckily we have a bunch of guys that can make them.
Yeah.
We have some guys that, like Lodgy, for example, he hits 3 in a row against Iowa State. If he's open and there's nobody there and he's right at the 3-point line, I don't have a problem with him taking that. I don't yell at him because he misses one, but he never takes a bad one. Sometimes maybe it's a little early, maybe it's a little quick, right? But our guys are pretty good at that. They don't typically take bad shots. When Peyton gets on a heater, he might jack a few from 48 feet.
48 feet.
Yeah. But you know what? That's my guy. He can shoot for whatever he wants.
For sure. Another question, and that's Drew Thelwell, though, of course, is our Midwest One stat of the week. His accuracy was spectacular, home and away. 14 of 20 with 6 threes. But, Coach, back to Peyton. Let me find the question here. Here it is. Al and Atumwa. Coach, what are they projecting Peyton draft-wise in the NBA draft coming up in
Yeah,
June.
I think it's going to be a function of a number of different things. Yeah, he would have gone in the second round last year safely. He came back to want to go in the first round. If you watch the NBA these days, seems like that's all they do: shoot threes.
Get rid of it.
So he would be somebody that I think a lot of NBA teams would covet for a number of different reasons. Number one is his three-point shoot, but his size. He's 6'7". He's a good ball handler. He can pass it.
Good rebounder.
Is really good rebounder, and his character is impeccable. So, it will remain to be seen where in the draft, but I would expect him to be drafted.
And Coach, to build on that a little bit, going through that process last year, what did he bring back?
Well, he learned a lot because not only, as you know, Bobby, but not only do they work you out, they interview you, then they bring you to the combine. And different teams, there's some similarities, but some of them just do it differently, and they're looking for something different. So you hear these guys say, I just want to get the feedback. Well, he got feedback. This is what we like. This is what you need to improve on. This is what we don't like, whatever. And he's an intelligent kid, and he's going to listen, and he's going to try to affect change if there was something that they recommend that he change. And boy, did he come in with the right attitude, and that's what I love about him.
Yep. Coach, one more before we take a break here. This is off Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes, or Voice of the Hawks. And it comes from Moline. Tim, thanks for checking in. Owen Freeman is really coming into his own. How would you describe his play and or improvement from his freshman year to this season at this point?
I think it's pretty, to me it's not dramatic, but it's noticeable. He was, how many guys were Rookie of the Week as many times as he was, and Rookie of the Year in the league?
Sixth man.
So, his numbers last year were not only good, but they were consistently good, and it's been more of the same for him. He felt like he needed to get bigger, which he did. And that's sometimes really difficult to adjust to, because he was always a lean runner, jumper, and he's a little thicker. He can still run and jump, but where it affects you most is your stamina. And the thing that we always worry about with him is that his stamina leads to foul trouble. He gets tired.
He plays so
just
hard
not
when he's
quite where
on the
he
floor,
doesn't get to where he needs to get to. But world-class person, and he's been terrific and also very consistent this year.
And when you've had to pull him out and rest him, you can just see Riley Mulvey's improvement. Lodgy, we talked about Lodgy. Evan Bronze would like more minutes, but you've got a little depth there at that position.
Yeah, we got Owen's a little banged up right now, so those guys are really going to have to step up. Riley and Lodgy and Evan, and also Chris. We want to forget about him.
For sure. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Coach will give us a little insight as to Purdue, which is still a week out, but the Boilermakers are next up for the Hawkeyes at Carver next Tuesday night. That's next on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey from Learfield.
Midwest One believed in us and gave us the money to get started, and it was great.
We're talking with Jack Piper of Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
In 2005, they were there when we opened Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack. They've been there every step of the way with funding and great feedback on how to expand our brand. Midwest One Bank has been great, and with the recent uncertain times, we got through it, thanks to Midwest One Bank.
Midwest One Bank. Simply better banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing US Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to US mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list, clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard, which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to Wellmark.com/every moment to find a plan right for you.
Welcome back to our remaining moments with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffrey, Bobby Hansen. I'm Gary Dolphin. We're live at the Hyatt Regency in Coralville in the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. And if you're looking for a place to spend your next lunch break, come out to Watermill Kitchen and Bar's delicious weekday lunch specials featuring a pick two for $12. That's right. 2 items for $12. Select from refreshing salads, flavorful sandwiches, or comforting soups to build a healthy and quick lunch this winter. All for a great deal. Check it out at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar every weekday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. Up next for the Hawks, the Purdue Boilermakers coming up next week on Tuesday night right here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Coach, I know you haven't implemented the game plan yet with the guys, but we do know Zach Edey's not back, but they still are very formidable. Matt has got another talented roster. They're ranked 10th in the country. I didn't see the rankings out today, but they were 10th when I last took a peek at it. And another solid team top to bottom.
They have really played well. Not that you're surprised. You lose the National Player of the Year. You always wonder, okay, what's next? But, you have the preseason Player of the Year in Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer in the backcourt. So now you have 2 guys that took you to the national championship game, and they're back.
Right.
Those 2 guys have been playing great. But the really interesting piece is Trey Kaufman-Renn. He was really good last year. I thought, his freshman year he was solid. Last year he was better, started. And now it's like, okay, I got to take over now that Zach's gone. Caleb First has stepped up. He's always been a big key to that team off the bench. Now he's starting. But they have 3-point shooters. They defend. They've got some size. They lost one of their big kids early. He was a really good player. But
freshman, wasn't he?
Yeah, freshman.
Yeah. Big, tall kid.
Yeah, but Trey Kaufman-Renn is really – he's averaging like 19 as their leading scorer.
Talk about him. He's a junior. You could see him emerging last year.
You could, because you know what happened? Like, nobody talked about him. It was the guards, it was the transfers, and it was the National Player of the Year. Nobody talked about him. But what Matt did, which was, in my view, really smart, and I think he's a really intelligent guy. Real great coach, but he would run stuff. Like people didn't talk about it, they didn't notice it, but they ran stuff for Trey Kaufman-Renn last year because he knew he was going to have to run stuff for him this year. And by virtue of doing that, he built that kid's confidence. Like, dude, we're coming to you next year, and Zach's not here, and it really paid off.
6'9", 230. I mean, he's a man.
Run.
He's a lean, powerful guy. And like I said, playing with a ton of confidence right now.
We've got the Northwestern Rutgers game on here. The Wildcats are out in front 13-10, about 5-6 minutes.
They jumped them. Northwestern jumped them, and Rutgers, as you would expect, fought back. Harper's not playing, so you got some other guys stepping up.
And I bring that up, Coach, because Bobby and I were talking at the top of the show. You got Michigan State has put a little separation between itself and the rest of the league. You know that Wisconsin's always good. Purdue's always solid. But from that 3-4 spot on through 15 or 16, of which Iowa's a member, it's a logjam. It is amazing.
And it's that kind of league where everybody wants to win. Everybody has good players. Everybody has a good coach. Everybody has a good fan base. And, can you stay healthy? Can you win on the road? Can you close out games? And do you have some go-to guys that can come up big for you at crunch time? And that's really what it comes down to. And that's typically veterans. So now you have some teams by this point in the season, Dolph, that maybe they have new guys, but they're veteran guys. We talked about Ohio State. Those guys now aren't 18, 19 years old.
Right.
They're not. And they don't play that way. Now, the one kid is, and he plays like he's 35. That's a bad dude right there. I love his game. And so at least they're not relying on 4 or 5 of those guys. And our league is loaded with veteran guys.
I agree with you. Thornton is as good. I mean, I remember he came out of high school, McDonald's All-American, 5-star, and he's only gotten better every year in bits. But
the thing about him is he's really tough and he's really smart. And he's talented. Okay, you watch him come down the floor one time and you can tell that he's talented, but you don't until you really watch him. His mind affects the game, his ability to control the game.
I love his toughness.
Engineer victory, but he and Mobley together. Whew.
Oh boy, yeah, that's a good combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fran and I were talking earlier. I asked him, anybody surprise you in the league? You said no, but for me, I think Illinois, because I didn't know who those guys were and how good Jakachunas was and Ivisic and the new guys that they brought in.
Mm-hmm. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They went and got those guys, and there's a way to go about doing that, and they've done a great job of it.
Brad's done a great job of finding those pieces because, every year they're going to have 4 or 5 guys leave. I'm watching the center he had last year playing at Kansas State.
Yeah.
I forgot he went to K-State.
Yeah, he got a few dollars.
Hawkins.
Coleman Hawkins.
He got a few shekels?
He got a few shekels to make that move. I think 2.1, they say.
Yeah, that's the world we live in, and we will press on.
I read an article, quarterbacks for $4 million if you want a great quarterback for your team.
Well,
that's amazing.
Think about it. Like, what do quarterbacks make in the NFL?
45, 50 million.
So they should at least make 10% of that.
There you go. Good way to put it.
Hey, I'd say enjoy the week off, but I know better.
No, it's a grind, but beats having a real job.
We'll see you next week.
See you.
All right, Coach McCaffrey, Bobby Hampson, I'm Gary Dolphin. Thanks to the gang here at the Hyatt Regency, as always. Thanks to all of you for coming out and enjoying the show tonight. We'll be back next Monday night for another edition of Hawk Talk here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Good night, everybody.
Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffrey. Brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee. Score big savings with a Hy-Vee Perks membership. Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. Midwest One Bank is the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Midwest One. Small enough to care, big enough to deliver. Member FDIC. Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. By your local Ford dealers. Iowa Lottery. Be a VIP with the Iowa Lottery. Visit ialottery.com for details. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. And by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.